I told you guys in my Natasha Denona Retro Glam review that I wanted to do another look, like a get ready with me look, so this is going to be the focal point of today's look. We're getting another play session with it in. I'm also just going to be using other products that I'm excited to use, I want to use, that are really good. I'm also testing the Mcgrath cheek palettes finally that came out in the holiday collection, and just some stuff that I'm enjoying and using. So I posted a video called Don't Forget About These Amazing Products at Sephora, and you guys loved it. So today's kind of using products that I just want to use that I really love and would recommend. There's a couple that I'm still testing and I'll let you know, but yeah, it's just a good old chill, get ready with me. If you're getting ready for the day, sit in front of your makeup desk, play this video, and let's hang out, and also, of course, get another testing session in with the new Natasha Denona palette. So the first item I'm going to use to prep my skin is the Dalba First Spray Serum. This is going to give my skin a nice glowy hydrated finish. I actually already applied the serum that pretty much has the same ingredients this morning, so I still have that glow, but I want to lock some more glow in, so we're going to use this. Okay, let that sit in. I apologize, the lighting is not as amazing today. We have that tropical storm, so it is just so gray, and I use natural sunlight in my videos with a ring light, and now we don't have any natural sunlight, so it's all the ring light today. It's not as pretty if you ask me. Okay, so to smooth my face, work into the pores, I'm going to use my favorite putty primer from e.l.f. I think they just did the best job with it, and it's a plus with the price point, but it works like a high-end product. Really nice if you're looking for a good smoothing putty primer. Mine melted a little bit, that's funny. I'm just gonna put this in the center of my face where I feel like my pores are just a little deeper. I don't really need it on the outskirts of my face, but right here, I'm gonna apply this. And right here as well. Foundation. Okay, I don't necessarily love this foundation. I do enjoy it, but Makeup Forever keeps sending me these foundations in PR, and I keep having to find people to give them to, so yeah, I don't know. I just got like the 4th package of this in the mail. Not this exact package, but since I just opened more of these, I was like, let me use this. I think I'm going to use shade 2N22. And don't get me wrong, like this is a nice foundation. I'm just a little salty because it is a reformulated foundation of a foundation that I loved more. I feel like the original formula was just a little better. So still salty about that, but it still is good, just not as good. I'm going to use my beauty blender to blend this out. And as much as I say you don't need to spend the money on a beauty blender, I always find myself coming back to the $20 beauty blender because no brand, in my opinion, has really been able to replicate softness. The brand that's come the closest, I would say, is the Shop AOA, and it's like $1, so that one is amazing. But I went to a makeup show a few years ago, and I got just pretty much this lifetime supply of beauty blenders with my pro discount. So that's why I always have them. I never buy them anymore, but I have a lifetime supply of them, and I am not mad about it at all. See, the foundation looks good. It's a good foundation from Sephora, just not my favorite. For eyebrows, I'm gonna pop on this Florasis, I think, eyebrow pencil. I'll have it linked in the description box. The words on it are in English, so I can never remember if it's Florasis or ZC. But anyways, I'm gonna use this, it's really nice. So I'm brushing my brows up. Then I like to define the lower lash. Why did I say lash? And then I like to define the lower line down here to make it look clean. Brush down, and I like to fake an arch because for some reason my brows are just really sparse in the arch area. And then one of my favorite brow gels is the Sigma brow gel. Totally underrated, never hear anybody talking about their brow gel, but I'm very picky with brow gels, and this is one of my favorites. And I'm just gonna brush each individual hair up towards the sky. And then as we get towards the tail end of the brow, go a little bit more sideways, not towards the sky anymore. Just like that. And this is a nice everyday brow gel because your brow hairs, you know, they do listen, they go where you want them to go, but this doesn't have a super strong hold. It doesn't feel so heavy duty, which I think makes it better for the daytime. And I do want to clean up underneath the brow because I think I'm going for a more colorful look today, so I want the brows to look really clean. I'm going to take this Sigma Dream Ultimate Shader Brush. I'm just going to take the foundation that I used, just on the cap here, and taking the tiny bit of that, we're just going to clean up a little bit. This little bit of foundation makes a big difference if you ask me. Okay, so it is already time to do the eyeshadow. So I'm going to do one eye off camera and I'll be back to do the other eye with you. So I knew that today I wanted to do a really green makeup look because a lot of the shades from this palette that I hadn't used yet were quite green. I've got to say I'm a little disappointed because it wasn't as green as I thought it was going to be, and we'll talk about that. So what I'm going to do to start off, I'm going to go into Fringe right here, which is this really light sage green. It's very, very pretty. I have a BK Beauty 201 brush, and I just went ahead and applied my foundation all over the eyelid to work as my base today. So I'm applying that, and then I'm going in with a smaller brush, and I'm going into Sage, which has a little bit more depth in here. This is one of the prettiest shades in the palette, and I hadn't gotten to use it yet in the review. So I'm using it in this look, and you can see this really makes the green pop. So this is a star of the show in today's look. This is the reason why I wanted to do a look like this, because I wanted to use Sage. Did I use it in the last tutorial? Honestly, I think I did. Anyways, whatever. I wanted to use it today. And this, when I put it on, I was like, I want to do an all green look today. I'm going to use that first brush that I used. We're going to fluff and buff the outer corner to get it nice and blended looking. I just love this shade. I think it is so unique. I don't think I have another shade like this in my collection. This is where I was a little disappointed. I thought I could get it pretty green in the outer corner by going into Evergreen right here, which is the cream to powder. But truthfully, this shade didn't nearly take me where I wanted it to take me. I thought if I really blended this shade and packed it on, I could get a super dark green look, like one of the looks that I saw on her website, but I simply just couldn't with this palette. I really do wish there was like a super dark forest green that could bring in a lot of depth to this look, or the palette in general. I just thought that would be nice and really complete the palette. I get it, this is a palette that's not really supposed to have a lot of depth, but I think adding one hunter green, almost black green, would have completed this palette and made it a little bit more versatile for the average user, as well as somebody with a deeper skin tone who's looking to bring something with a little bit more depth into their look. So it looks pretty right. But the only way to get depth in this palette is to go into these dark shades right here, and they're both shimmery. So I'm starting off with Maxi because I had not yet used Maxi yet. I didn't get a chance to use it when I filmed the review. So I'm starting it off in the outer corner. This one I think has a little bit too much reflex to use it in the way that I'm using it. You can just kind of see it sparkling against the eyelid. So didn't really like this shade used in this way, but if you take a step back, it did add the depth that I needed. So it did do that, but then I was just like, no, I need it deeper. And I'm going into Jazzy, which if you look at Natasha's looks on her website, she definitely used this shade a lot. Now this shade is not as hard to use in the outer corner. I feel like there's less reflex in it and it does add the depth, but again, just not as much as I wanted. I mean, obviously I can go into another palette and get that dark hunter green, but I'm all for a palette that includes every color that you need. Maybe not a black. I don't need a black in every palette, but any color that's not black, I want it in a palette that I need. So this is the outer part. It looks pretty, it's very blended, very easy to use. Just wasn't as dark green as I was hoping. It turned out more minty, this palette did, than I was expecting. I thought it would be more green, but everything's just pulling more minty. Something I'm disappointed with is how close this looks to the first look I did in the original review. I was hoping I could get it more green rather than teal and minty. So I'm going into Oz next with a Morphe shader brush. And this shade I hadn't yet used. This one is really pretty. I would apply this all over to the lid for a pretty semi-smoky eye. Nothing too deep, obviously, but how pretty would that look all over the lid? I'm just gonna keep it in here for today's video, but if I weren't trying to use a lot of shades and still testing this palette out, this would definitely be going all over the eyelid. And then we're gonna go into Marlin, which is a stunning green shade, and this is gonna fill in the rest of the lids. So this is gonna brighten things up a little bit, just like that. And then using a pencil brush, we're going into Palladian, which is such a useful shade in this palette. You can use it for a bright look, you can use it to highlight, which is what I'm doing. I'm focusing it in the inner corner and kind of bringing it over just to brighten everything. We're gonna apply this to the brow bone as well. So we'll come back to that, but I wanted to greenify this look a little bit. So I pulled out the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Liner Duo in Green Lights. I'm not sure if this is still available, but this green is what I want in powder form, but I just used it for today's eyeliner to create a wing. So this liner, I will say, is not the creamiest liner. You have to kind of tug a little bit to get it to draw on, but she came out with such pretty colors with this liner that I don't even care, because these are unique colors as well. I don't have another liner that is quite this shade, so it's very useful. You could also use black, but lately I've been into using every other color except black for my liner. I think it's different, but still adds the definition to the eye. If you look at all of my previous looks, well, not all, but a lot of my previous looks, I've been using not a black eyeliner, and I just think it makes such a small difference that makes it more unique, but it still isn't crazy. And once I do concealer, I think I'm going to do a little inner corner wing, because I think that just spices every single look up. But just using my finger to sharpen the wing. Then I'm going to get a makeup wipe and clean up underneath. Get any of the fallout, though I noticed I haven't been getting crazy fallout with this palette. But that looks really good, and I feel like this liner helped to bring some more green back into this look. Alright, for concealer, I've been testing this new one from Huda Beauty. It's the hashtag Full Filter Luminous Matte Concealer. I picked this up during the Sephora sale, so I'm getting used to it, working on it, see what I think about it, so we're going to use this. So I'm applying it in here because I actually want to bring a little bit of brightness to my face, then just a little out here. Going to use my beauty blender, and we're gonna blend this all in. And then for the more detailed parts, like around the wing, I'm gonna take my brush and just blend that out. Absolutely lovely. And to set my under eyes, I'm using this Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Brightening Flawless Finish Powder to set the under eyes. I'm just gonna take this and pop it right here, and you can see the difference between the brightened side and the non-brightened side. And I'm just gonna really keep that for the under eyes. I'm gonna use a different powder to set my face, but before I set my face, I do want to use the cream contour that I picked out. So this is another pickup from the Sephora sale. This is the Fenty Matchsticks in the shade Mocha. So I'm gonna use this just to define the outer parts of my face. So we're gonna get under the cheekbones, then of course around the forehead, and let's get the nose, why not? Then right under the mouth, and I think that's all I'll do today. Of course, my handy dandy sponge is what I'm gonna use to blend this out. I pretty much use my sponge for everything, if you couldn't tell, but this is a new formulation of the Matchsticks. They came out with this formulation a couple months ago, and I really thought the old formulation was quite drying. This one's pretty good. It's not the smoothest blend. Like you can see, I'm having to press and push a little harder than I would with, some other products, but it does work itself out. It is better than the last formulation, and I think this might be better, for more oily skin types, because it might hold on better to wear. I'm gonna press this along the nose. Let me hop back into the brightening powder really quickly. I'm just gonna put this down the center of the nose to make sure my nose doesn't look like I have mud on it. That's not cute. Okay, that looks lovely. Let's go ahead and finish the lower lash line. I'm gonna keep it green. I wanted today to be a really green look. So I'm gonna use Sage to start off with. And I'm just going to put this along the entire lower lash line. Just like so. Add some depth in with Evergreen right here. Put it right in the outer half of the lower lash line. Okay, and then I'm going into Oz. This is a beautiful shade. I'm happy she added it in here. Putting it in the outer corner of the eye. And then to finish off, keeping everything nice and bright, we're going to take some Palladian. And I'm going to put this in the inner half of the lower lash line to hopefully brighten up the eye a little bit. To set the rest of my face, not so much underneath the eye, but just in the other areas. This is one of my all-time favorite powders. This is a Jaclyn Cosmetics and Robin powder. It is so smoothing. So I'm going to use this. And I'm just going to put it pretty much where powder goes, but not on the under eyes since I already have powder. But I love the way that this looks to set the forehead. I think it's so natural, but it's still quite blurring, and it's not super drying looking either. So I'm not doing too much with this powder, but I wanted to set with it just because I think the finish is so pretty. This is a powder that does not get talked about enough, even on my own channel, but this is a phenomenal setting powder. So nice. Okay, so I'm excited to talk about these blush palettes from Pat McGrath. I've been asked, like, Morgan, where is your review on these? So I did order one off of Sephora a long time ago, and I held off on even using it because I was waiting for the one that was only sold on the Pat McGrath website to come, and it literally took 3 weeks for the one on the Pat McGrath website to get to me. So by the time it came to me, we had moved on, you know, it was really busy, there was lots of makeup releases, so finally I can go back and actually try these. So there are 2 cheek palettes. Now both of these contain some products that already exist and some new ones. So this one right here is Nude Venus. This one is in the pink packaging. Very, very pretty. I wasn't sure which one I wanted to use, so I was waiting to get the look done before I figured it out. And then this one right here is the Divine Rose, which looks like this. So it contains 4 blushes. Both contain a different number of existing blushes and a highlight. Let me show you them next to each other. So here's what they look like next to each other. Of course, I just dug my nail into one of the highlights. So that's really lovely. So I think I'm going to go into the Divine Rose palette, and I'm going to use 2 blushes. We're going to use Divine Rose right here, and then this one right here, Peony Rose, and I'm going to mix both of these. I'm using an Angie Hot and Flashy brush. This Peony Rose has a lot of color. Just going to press that on the outer parts of my cheek. Then with whatever's left on my brush, we'll blend it in towards the apple. Okay, very pretty. Love the blush I chose. Now, if you're new to my channel, I really do enjoy the Pat McGrath blushes. So if you want to try Pat McGrath blushes, this is a great place to start. I think it's a very nice value. Obviously, I need to play with both of these more to give you my final thoughts and my favorite colors and all of that. So keep an eye out. These will eventually be in a speed reviews. But yeah, this is the first time I'm using these palettes. And I'm going to go ahead and just use the highlight that is already in here. For a while, Pat McGrath, I feel like, just had the worst highlight formulas. Nothing stood out about them, but I feel like she's finally nailed them. Like, look how pretty this is. This is a BK Beauty 112 brush, and I'm just going to blend this. Has a little bit more gold in here than I would prefer for this specific eye look, but whatever, it's pretty. I wanted to review this. Oh, dang. So this has like a lot of fallout. There's powder going everywhere, but I'll let it pass because it is quite pretty. So cool. I'm happy I finally got the chance to try this palette. For eyelashes, I'm going to pop on one of my favorite mascaras from Sephora. This is the Rare Beauty mascara. I feel like it does give me a good amount of volume and length. It's a nice one. So I'm going to start on my lower lashes. I usually do a couple coats on the lower lashes to get them to stand out more. And see how good it makes my lower lashes look? And you guys know the drill. with lashes lately. I've been all about the velour Cloud 9, so I'm going to pop these on off camera and we'll finish with my lip selection. Now, I already knew what lip look I wanted to do, like immediately as soon as I chose these green tones. I figured we would stay with Natasha Denona, and I'm gonna use her Mind Dream Lip Trio collection, which comes with a lip liner, lipstick, and lip gloss. So let's do it. We're gonna use the lip liner in the shade Natasha. Now these are still in their boxes, but I've already used all of these products. I don't know, I like to keep new products in their box for a little bit. So this is the Natasha lip liner. It has this pretty mauviness to it. I really like this color. I wish if I could change it. If it were named Morgan and it were my dream lip liner, it would be a hint deeper for some more definition, but it's still very pretty. And she has a great formula. So that's to line, that's pretty. Then we're gonna use the Natasha lipstick. Now I have a Natasha from her permanent line, so I almost didn't buy this, and I'm happy that I did because this is not the same as the one in my older collection, like the older one in my collection. The older one in my collection is more gray and cool. This is like mauve. It's a complete different color, which is a shame because they should look the same, but it makes me not mad I bought this since they do look different. But this is a pretty color, but it's not the original Natasha. Anybody else feel that way? All right. This is the perfect shade for this look though, you gotta admit. And again, Natasha has just a stunning lipstick formula. It smells like a vanilla sugar cookie. And then finally, I'm going to use the Natasha lip gloss, which her lip gloss is okay. I'm not mad that I have it, but there's so many other lip gloss formulations that I prefer. But we're going to go ahead and use this because it's just going to top off the look, right? So, okay, let me pull myself together. I will see you out. Alright, so here is today's makeup look. The two most exciting products for me to use today, of course, were the Retro Glam, and I finally got to dip into the Mcgrath blush palette. Now, this is the third look at this point that I've created with the Retro Glam palette. I still am really liking this palette because, as always, Natasha just kills it in the eyeshadow department in terms of quality. Every launch, her brand is becoming more and more consistent, but I do wish I could get more of a true green look as opposed to a minty look with this palette. Maybe wish the undertones were a little bit more khaki or something. I don't know. I don't feel 100% satisfied with the tones of the greens for some reason. I want a little bit more depth, but nonetheless, it's still a gorgeous palette. We're still going strong. There's a couple more looks in my head that I want to create that you'll probably see later on. Like, I want to do a pinky look with this glimmer all over the lid. I also want to do an all, like, cool tone with the Greyzy taupes look. I think that would look really cool too. So I have some future plans for this. But today I wanted to go a little bit more colorful because I needed to brighten my day because it is so gray out. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me, playing with some makeup, good old makeup talk, and yeah. If you like this video, make sure you tell me by liking and commenting, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye guys, have a good one.